What is up guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Suman and today's analysis video is going to be about the Premier League game between Chelsea and Leicester City. So today's video is sponsored by Jerseys FC. You can buy all the new football jerseys from their website and you can also use the code ANALYZE for an extra 20% discount. So both Leicester City and Chelsea lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation on paper, and they both changed their formation to a 4-4-2 and 4-1-4-1 without the ball. Leicester could not have asked for a better start as they were 1-0 up inside the first 10 minutes. Most of the times, when you see a team taking a short corner, you would see that the defensive side tries to place two players close to the corner post to neutralize the man advantage and stop the opponents from taking the short corner. But surprisingly, Chelsea only had Pulisic to stop the short corner, who was easily isolated in a 1v2 position. Hudson-Odoi and Kovacic were trying to cover Harvey Barnes and NDD at the edge of the box. Since Christian Pulisic was left in a 1v2 position, so Hudson-Odoi was forced to leave Harvey Barnes and help Pulisic against the overload, and thus Kovacic was forced to leave NDD and cover Harvey Barnes. This way, NDD was left totally free at the edge of the box, and he scored the first goal for Leicester City. Christian Pulisic is the only man to stop Leicester's short corner, who is easily isolated in a 1v2 position. Kovacic is covering NDD, with Hudson-Odoi covering Harvey Barnes at the edge of the box. Christian Pulisic was left isolated in a 1v2 position, so Hudson-Odoi was forced to leave Harvey Barnes and cover Albrighton. Callum Hudson-Odoi moves to cover Albrighton, and Kovacic is now left in a 1v2 position at the edge of the box, and Leicester City scored the goal. Leicester City without the ball mostly had a formation of 4-1-4-1 with Tielemans and Maddison covering Mason Mount and Kovacic, with NDD covering Kai Havertz in between the lines. Jamie Vardy was trying to press the goalkeeper while the two wingers were working as the two positional diagonals to cut the passing lanes from the centre-backs to the full-backs. Jamie Vardy is pressing the goalkeeper, with Harvey Barnes and Albrighton the two positional diagonals. Tielemans and Maddison are covering Mason Mount and Kovacic. NDD is the free man who was taking care of Kai Havertz whenever he tried to drop deep. Since the midfielders were tightly marked and the two wingers were pressing the two Chelsea centre-backs, while at the same time they were also trying to cut the short passing options to the full-backs. So it was mostly up to Mendy to use his long passing to pick the two Chelsea full-backs behind the two positional diagonals. Mendy using his passing range to bypass the positional diagonal to pick Reece James and help Chelsea build their play. Here again, Mendy is using his passing range to pick Ben Chilwell behind the positional diagonal to help Chelsea move the ball forward. Ben Chilwell receives the ball from Mendy, Pulisic drops deep, and he pulls the fullback out of his position to open the space for the underlap of Ben Chilwell. The fullback was taken out by Christian Pulisic, and Ben Chilwell now has the space to run into. At times, Chelsea also tried to use the tight man marking in the middle of the ground to drag Tielemans and Maddison wide to open the space in the central area for one of the front three to drop deep and receive the ball directly from their centre-backs. Kovacic is forcing Tielemans wide, and Mason Mount takes away NDD, and that has opened the gap in the central area for Thiago Silva to play a straight pass to Pulisic. Chelsea were able to build their play and dominate possession, but it was mainly the final third where Chelsea looked totally out of ideas. The moment Chelsea crossed the halfway line, they looked totally lost, and 90% of the times they end up playing a back pass to their centre-backs instead of trying to move the ball forward. Callum Hudson-Odoi and Tammy Abraham both make a very well-timed run behind the line, and all they needed was a simple pass over the top from Reece James, who has time and space on the ball. Look at the frustration of both these guys as Reece James decides to play a back pass to his centre-back. And this has been a major issue for Chelsea this season. They take ages to move the ball forward, and whenever they do get the chance to move the ball forward, they simply end up playing a back pass and they repeat the same thing all over again. Leicester City, on the other hand, had no issues to move the ball forward right through the heart of Chelsea's midfield thanks to the lackluster marking of Chelsea. I have no idea what Mason Mount was doing here. Fofana to NDD, and NDD plays a first-time pass to Maddison. Mason Mount never checks his shoulder, and he was just standing there allowing Maddison to receive the ball. Ben Chilwell steps out to cover the Leicester fullback, and Maddison can now play the pass to Albrighton in the half space. And that's how you move the ball forward right through the heart of the midfield. Leicester City mostly tried to attack from the wide areas thanks to the runs of their wingers who were constantly dragging the Chelsea fullbacks out of their positions to open the space in the defense. Harvey Barnes dropping deep. He is forcing Reece James out of his position to open the space in the defense for the run of Maddison. Reece James was taken out by Harvey Barnes, and now both Justin and Maddison are ready to attack the space that was left open by Reece James. Albrighton is doing the same thing on the other side, dropping deep, forcing Ben Chilwell out of his position to open the space in the defense for the fullback to make an overlap, as Christian Pulisic fails to track the run of the fullback. The fact that Chelsea's fullbacks don't get any defensive support from their wingers and midfielders is what makes things worse for Chelsea. Harvey Barnes plays the ball to Justin, which forces Reece James to step out to cover Justin. And that opens the space in the defense that Harvey Barnes tries to exploit by making a run into the box. And none of the three Chelsea players tried to follow Harvey Barnes into the box. Harvey Barnes receives the ball and cuts it back to Tielemans. Leicester City, on the other hand, were working very hard without the ball, and their wingers and midfielders were constantly dropping in the defense to help their fullbacks defensively. The fullback steps out to cover Ben Chilwell, and that opens the gap in the half space. But Tielemans immediately checks his shoulder, and he can see Kai Havertz making the run in the space. Tielemans closely follows the run of Kai Havertz, and now Ben Chilwell is forced to cross the ball because Chilwell can't play a short pass to Kai Havertz thanks to Tielemans. Chelsea have now lost 5 out of their last 8 league games, and with just 7 points out of a total 24, things are looking extremely difficult for Chelsea. Only Sheffield United have lost more games in the last 45 days than Chelsea. And according to the latest news articles, the Chelsea board is running out of patience, and they have started looking at different names to replace Frank Lampard. So do you think Frank Lampard's time at Chelsea is coming to an end? Comment below and let me know. And who do you think can replace Lampard at Chelsea? Thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.